Hello, everyone. I've jumped on a spontaneous live. If you're watching the replay, hello. Hey, guys. Welcome. Let me make sure my microphone is here. So, as you can see from the title of this live video, we are going to be doing a live manifestation workshop together. I've got a plan. We're going to go on a journey together. We're going to release anything that maybe has been holding you back or, getting in your way. We're going to release that. We're going to call in some new powerful energy and we're going to set the sail to manifest some epicness into our life. So at the time of me going on live, those of you who are live, say hello in the chat so I can see your names. Hi, Aria. Hi, Kimmy. Great to see you on here. So if we're live, it is Valentine's Day today. And so I wanted to give you all a Valentine's gift. That's what this live is. I wanted to bring you something that could help you to raise your vibration if you've been feeling a little bit low, to help you to heal your relationship with yourself. Because as you may know, if you've seen any of my videos before, I often talk about how we manifest things. I'm just checking. Can you hear me okay? Because my microphone is not showing any signs of green. Let me know if you can hear me. But yes, we manifest whatever fits within our bubble of belief. We manifest within what we perceive to be possible for ourselves. So Valentine's Day is often associated with a romance, with, maybe romance with a significant other person. But also, as you know, if you've seen any of my videos about how to attract more love into your life, it all starts with the love that we feel for ourselves. It all starts with our relationship that we have with ourselves. If we believe that we are good enough, lovable, valuable, worthy, deserving of being happy, then we will allow ourselves to receive more of that. So anything that we want from someone else or from life in general, let's give it to ourselves first. So whenever I think about Valentine's Day, I actually also think about how it's a good excuse to focus on loving ourselves. So I invite you to stay on this live, treat yourself to a healthy dose of self-love today. Whether you're watching this live and it is Valentine's Day or any other day when you're watching this, give yourself the gift of self-love. We're going to be pouring love into ourselves. We're going to be manifesting and actually using my favorite scripting technique, but doing it with a little Valentine's self-love twist. So I'm really excited to do that with you. I think it could add a whole new dimension to scripting for some of us. So hello, everyone. I can see people saying hello in the chat. I can see Sarah, Pixie Girl, Kendall, Fatin, Angelina, Cynthia, Kendall again, Angelina again, Country Diehard, Pixie Girl, Aria, Angelina, Elizabeth, John. Great to see you on here live, everyone. I'm sending you all so much love. Sending you love, sending you love. Can you feel the love? Glitter and duct tape. I love that name. It's amazing what you can do with a bit of glitter and duct tape. Am I right? Miss Fallen Star, my Peace Zone, Hanny. Great to see you all on here. Okay, so what do we need first of all? What do you need if you want to get the most out of this live session that we're doing together, this live manifestation workshop that we're doing together? I would recommend that you grab yourself a piece of paper, a journal, a notebook, a piece of paper, doesn't matter, okay? But you are going to need a space to write down your answers to some journal prompts that I'm going to give you. Okay, so this exercise is extremely powerful, and there's going to be 3 parts to it. So make sure to stay tuned for all 3 parts so that you can really get the most out of this. Hi, Elizabeth. Hello, thankful one. What a wonderful Valentine's Day gift. My pleasure. I just thought that I wanted to come on here and just be on the vibration of love with all of you. I appreciate you all so much. Really, really. There's not a day that goes by where I don't think about what a blessing it is that we've all come together. Just a few years ago, before I created this YouTube channel, I kind of thought I was the only weird person in my life that was into all of this manifestation stuff and that prioritized her energy and that wanted to learn more about personal development. And then when I started creating videos and met all of you and sort of then it really changed my whole perspective about the world. I realized that wow, there's actually all of these people spread out across the planet who are interested in this stuff too and who think in a similar way to how I think. And so I really am so grateful that YouTube has brought us all together. So I'm so grateful for you and I really hope that each and every one of you get something from this session. Okay, so hopefully while I've been talking, you've grabbed a notebook and a pen. If not, grab one now. And I did a little bit of prep work before I went live. And I really thought, okay, how can I ensure that we release anything that might be holding us back? How can I help us to shift our perspective to one that's maybe going to set us down a pathway of manifesting so much more magic into our lives? So that's the intention that I put into creating this. Okay. So I want you to get a blank page in your book. And we're going to start off actually by the first part is actually going to be allowing ourselves to get clear on anything that we've been saying to ourselves that might be holding us back. Anything that we've been doing to ourselves that's not very nice. You know, sometimes people can say negative things to us, but sometimes we can say negative things to us. We can sometimes be our own worst critic. We can sometimes be the one that focuses on the things that we don't like about ourselves. Not always, but as you know, when it comes to law of attraction, when it comes to manifestation, what we focus on, we add energy to, which creates more momentum. And before we know it, we can end up spiraling into a negative thought pattern, or then translating that into what then manifests for us. If we have been giving a lot of energy and focus onto the parts of ourselves that we don't like, we can end up attracting more of that into our life. So we're just going to briefly bring those things into our focus because sometimes it's all here, it's all noise, it's all, you know, 95% of our brain is subconscious and we're running on autopilot. And sometimes it's important to stop and take a moment and go, what is the program that's running in my head most of the time? What story have I been telling myself? Is it really serving me? Could I let it go? Would that make my life happier? So that's what we're going to be doing in this first section. So I want you to be brave. Okay. I want you to be honest. No one else has to see this. This is just for you. And the more honest you can be, the more you're going to get out of this exercise. You all with me? So, first of all, I want you to write negative things that I say about myself are. And then underneath that, try and put words into these thoughts that aren't serving you, but that maybe have been making a lot of noise in your head lately. Okay. I know it doesn't feel too nice, but we're releasing. We're in the process of bringing it up, focusing on it, and then we're going to do a releasing exercise afterwards. Okay. So be brave. You can do this. I'm going to put a little bit of music on to repeat what we're doing. We're going to we're going to write down negative things that I say about myself. It could be about your personality. It could be about your behaviors. It could be about the way that you look. It could be anything that you give yourself a hard time for. Okay. So 2 minutes on the clock. Get a little bit of background music going. Or maybe not. I know. Here we go. computer. Okay, we have background music. Okay, one more minute. We're just briefly bringing to the surface, putting down on paper any negative things that you frequently say in your head or maybe even say out loud about yourself. Okay. Wrapping that answer up now. And remember, you can, if you want to, you can go back to these exercises. This is going to be saved. Okay, so just wrapping up your answer there of any negative things that you've been saying or thinking about yourself. Now, it's not particularly a fun exercise to do, but how many of you found that when you actually had to put those words on paper, did any of those things, when you wrote it down, did they actually start to seem a little bit ridiculous? Where you think, gosh, actually, I say that about myself, but that's not completely true. Or, gosh, I give myself a hard time, but, I actually do a good job at that. Or, gosh, sometimes I'm so critical about the way that I look, but that's not a very kind thing to say to myself. So, the purpose of this exercise is to, yeah, they seemed too harsh, says Hanny. Exactly. Sometimes it's noise. Then when you actually have to bring it to paper, you think, gosh, that's a really mean thing to say. I would never, maybe you'd never say that to somebody else. And really, considering you understand manifestation and you understand the importance of self-love, these things really aren't serving us. We might think that they're serving us. There might be a part of our brain that thinks, I've got to tell myself this so that I'll get my bum up and do the work. Or I've got to say this to myself so that I can, who knows, right? But let this exercise be confirmation that saying any of that stuff to yourself, even if you believe it to be true, is not in your best interest. You don't deserve to speak to yourself that way. And you can change the way that you speak to yourself starting now. By the way, I just want to acknowledge Elizabeth, who said, I tried to download your free scripting workbook and was unable to receive it. Thank you. I will check your message on Instagram. Occasionally, that happens with some people's emails. So thanks for letting me know, Elizabeth. I'll do that after this. Okay. Sonali is saying, it's a relief to write it all down. Feels like I'm letting it go. Fantastic. You're already in the process of letting it go. That's beautiful. Well done. So indeed, take a moment now. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. and exhale. All of those things that you've been saying to yourself, you can let them go now. Imagine they've gone through your arm, through the pen, and onto the page. And as they did so, they left your body. You no longer need to put yourself through that pain. Sometimes there are people in the world that project their pain onto us. You know, sometimes other people can say horrible things, or sometimes we might experience some unpleasantness just as we go about life. But we can relieve ourselves of so much pain because the one person that we can absolutely control is our relationship with ourselves. Imagine how much easier life might just be if we chose to be kinder to ourselves. If we decided that none of those things are making life easier, imagine what life would be like the rest of your life. Would your life be happier, even if it's exactly as it is now? Even if, we're not looking at when I have this, when I manifest this, but just for a moment, just living, just existing, just being alive. How much better could life feel if I let go of those negative things that I've been saying to myself? Well done. Take another deep breath in. And again, just allow yourself to separate from that negative self-talk. Let it go. Good job. Well done. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next part. So the next answer to write, the next sentence to write is like this. A limiting belief that's been holding me back is. So a limiting belief is basically anything that you think, that you believe, that you say about yourself, or just like a general feeling or belief that you have, where you know that actually it's been stopping you. It's been holding you back. Maybe it's because you think that someone like you doesn't deserve to be happy, or someone like you isn't good enough to actually succeed, or someone like you can't have whatever. Or maybe it's just that you have been beating yourself up for something that happened maybe years ago. Whatever that limiting belief is, that actually it's holding me back. It's making my life harder. My life would be easier simply by letting go of that limiting belief. See if you can, whatever comes to mind. Hang on, let me just turn off my messages so that we don't get any background noises there. Whatever comes to mind, a limiting belief that's been holding me back is. What comes to mind? Write it down now. Could be one thing, could be several things. But whatever comes up, bring it up, write it down. No judgment. And as you write it down, you might think, oh my God, this is like totally the opposite of all the positive affirmations that I normally tell myself. But again, like some of you were saying in the chat, bringing this up, putting it into words, putting it on paper helps us to actually see, whoa, what's this crap that I've been feeding myself? Hang on a second, what's that? So write that down, whatever it is. Okay. When you've written it down, take another deep breath. What you're doing here is really powerful. By the way, if any emotions come up, let them come up, okay? Sometimes we just keep soldiering on without acknowledging or focusing on something that's really been holding us back. And what we're doing here is we're releasing it. We're giving ourselves permission to let it go so that we can open up a whole different level of life and happiness and more magic, more manifestations into our life. So, whatever that limiting belief is that you've been telling yourself, that reason why you can't have it all, or even just the belief that you can't have it all, take a deep breath in and out. Even though I've been telling myself this limiting belief, I deeply and completely love and forgive myself. Take another deep breath in and out. Even though I've been telling myself this story, which maybe I picked up from someone else, I deeply and completely love and forgive myself. Even though I'm not perfect, I deeply and completely love and forgive myself. Take another deep breath in. Even though I've messed up, I've made mistakes, I've failed many times, still, I can deeply and completely love and forgive myself. Take another deep breath in and allow yourself to release that story. Take another deep breath in. Picture it like a weight being lifted off of your chest, off of your shoulders. Exhale, let it go. Let it go out of your shoulders, out of your body. Okay? You don't need to hold on to it any longer. So on to the next question to write down. And we're starting to get more positive now, okay? So we're on the up here. Less doom and gloom, more love and positivity is coming your way. So the next thing to write down is, if there was one thing I could let go of now that would make my life easier, it would be, and write what comes up. I'll repeat that again. If there was one thing, anything I could let go of now that would make my life easier, it would be whatever comes up, whatever. And you know it. You know that there's an emotion or a story you tell yourself or a belief system or a habit or behavior. If you could let it go now and you know it would make your life so much easier, what is that thing? Write it down. Could be more than one thing, or might just be one big fat juicy thing. Sometimes it's a perspective. Sometimes it's a way of looking at life or ourselves. Mrs. Kiwi says, doubt. That's actually a way of looking at yourself. It's a way of looking at life, right? If there's one thing I could let go of now, which would make my life easier, what would make life easier? And it's okay if you're not sure if you can let it go. This is just hypothetical here, remember. We're just entertaining the possibility. If there was one thing, what would it be? Good. Take another deep breath in when you've written that down. As you exhale, think the word release and watch it release from your body now. And again, breathe in, sweep it up from your body. Exhale it out, release. One more time. Come on, I know you can do this. Take a deep breath in. It's time to let it go. Release. Good job. So proud of you. And by the way, some things like fear, Jackie's saying, doubt, Miss Kiwi is saying, it would be great to live a life without ever feeling those emotions, but they are human emotions too. And we will probably always feel those emotions come up, especially when we are thinking about something that's going to change our life or expand our life, or maybe the pursuit of our dreams can be scary, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment. Judgment is, again, the fear of judgment. So, we are human beings. Fear is one of the things that our brain is wired to do, originally to try and protect us from the lions on the savannah or whatever, right? So there is probably always going to be some kind of fear in our life. But fear doesn't have to stop us. You can feel fear, and at the same time, you can still move forward into the next chapter. You can still experience your wildest dreams just the way that you are, this perfectly imperfect human that sometimes feels fear, that sometimes feels doubt, that sometimes cares about what other people think about them, because those are also basic human instincts practically, right? So the next thing to write down is, if there was something kind or empowering I could say to support myself, it would be. If there was something kind or empowering, otherwise known as encouraging, that I could say to myself to support myself, what would it be? Write it down. If there's something kind I could say to myself, or empowering or encouraging to support myself on my journey, what would it be? Write that down now. Maybe it's that you can do it. I can do it. You're more than good enough. You're going to be able to handle this. You can do this. So, just to recap what we've done so far. First of all, we looked at what are some mean, negative things that I've been saying to myself, just so that I can really see how ridiculous they are when I put it down on paper. Then we looked at what is a limiting belief that I tell myself, that I believe, that's been holding me back. Then we looked at if there's one thing I could let go of now, which would make my life easier, what would it be? And then now we're starting to look at What can we do embracing who we are as this multifaceted, multi emotional, imperfect, amazing human being? How can we be that support system for ourselves? How can you be the most empowering, supportive person in your own life? How can you be the best parent for yourself? How could you be the best friend for yourself? How could you be the best mentor for yourself? We're deepening and strengthening that relationship with ourselves. We've transformed from saying all these mean, horrible things to ourselves to now exploring what are some empowering things I could say to myself instead. If you were criticizing for yourself, saying that you're not good enough, that you don't have enough energy, you don't have enough time, you're too lazy, you can't do it, you're stuck, you haven't achieved this yet, whatever it is that you may have been saying to yourself, those were some of the things that I found my brain was saying to myself. What's a much kinder story that, let's be honest, that story, if we change that story, it will change what we allow ourselves to receive. It will open up an entire vortex of new possibilities. It will increase our ability to manifest more good into our life. It will change the way that our brain is wired to allow ourselves all of the more possibilities, more happiness, more opportunities, more love, more miracles into our life. Okay? You've grown so much and put in so much effort. Now it's your time to receive all the good things. I love that. Opening yourself up to all of that. Beautiful. Well done. So, everybody, stay with me because we're now going to move on to the next section of this manifestation workshop. I hope you're all enjoying it so far. Thank you all for being here with me. Happy Valentine's Day. By the way, it's my birthday tomorrow. I'm going to be 30 tomorrow, the big 3-0. I'm feeling so grateful, excited for the new chapter. It feels special. And you know what? I'm going to have a party with some friends on Saturday. And I've actually, my mum, as a gift, she said, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I said, "You know what? I want a dress that's just outrageous. I want to wear something that is just like what a queen would wear, a spectacular, over the top, outrageous ball gown kind of dress." So that's what I'm going to be wearing on Saturday. Mum found me one on the internet and I was like, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like dark green, lacy, strapless, and then to the floor and loads of fabric all the way down to the floor. It's my queen ball gown. So I thought, you know what? Why not? It's my 30th. I'm going to go for it. So I'm excited for that. It'll be fun. And this is all, I'm doing this. I'm doing this live because I wanted to give a gift to all of you for Valentine's Day, but I'm also doing it for myself as well. It's a beautiful exercise for me to do the night before my birthday, for a new chapter ahead. So thank you for all being here with me. We're celebrating my birthday together. Okay, so moving on. Now we are pouring more and more and more and more love into ourselves. And the final, so we've got 2 more sections. We've got pouring in love, and then we're going to do a sort of scripting letter with a bit of a Valentine's Day twist. Okay? So, something to write down next is something I like about myself is. Let's start pouring that kindness into ourselves now. Something I like about myself is, and there's no wrong answer to this, okay? Go for it. Write it down now. And you could be more than one thing. Go for it. You don't have to limit yourself to one thing. Something I like about myself is, take a moment. Treat yourself to that now. And while you're writing these things down, actually, don't just write one thing. Let's have a little bit of a rampage. on the things that we love about ourselves. And if you're writing, maybe physical things, amazing. If you're writing personality things, amazing, or things you've achieved, amazing. See if you can actually do a bit of all of it so that you're appreciating all the different aspects of who you are. So some things I like about myself, or even I love about myself, are. I'm going to put a bit of music on so that we can just get into this one. Here we go. Okay, 30 more seconds. We're writing down things that we like about ourselves, things that we love about ourselves. It can be physical things, it can be personality traits, it can be things that you're good at, it can be things that other people have told you that you're good at, that they like about you. What are you known for? What are you good at? And what do you like about yourself? Okay, so the next question is a continuation, really. And I want you to write down something that I acknowledge myself for is. So, what does that mean for anyone who might not understand the wording? Something I acknowledge myself for. There might be something that you've done or you're doing or that you continue to do. And it's a good thing, but maybe you haven't been receiving much recognition about it. Sometimes we do a lot of good things that go seemingly unnoticed. Maybe you are a parent and you do a lot of things that maybe aren't always acknowledged. Maybe you're a hard worker at work. Maybe you don't always get acknowledged for all that hard work that you do. Maybe you have got yourself out of a really dark place and you're doing everything that you can at the moment to pour more love into you. Even just being here is something that you could acknowledge yourself for, that you're now the version of yourself that's taking care of you. So anything at all that you want to take a moment and acknowledge yourself for, do it right now. Because we as human beings, we live for those, we don't live for it, but recognition is something that they say babies cry for it and soldiers die for it. It's a human thing where we do all sorts of stuff to get recognized. So give yourself that recognition and acknowledge yourself for something that you have done lately. Okay. We could go on and on. It's good. It's good to have a positive rampage. So I'm going to move on. But if you want to come back to any of these and just keep going with all those little things that you do every day that maybe you don't acknowledge yourself for, you can come back to this, okay? But we're going to continue. So something I'm good at that's the next one to write down. What are some things that you're good at? You can also incorporate something I'm proud of myself for okay? All of these answers can kind of fit into these different boxes here, but I'm just giving you a few sentence starters to prompt you to think of more and more things. Actually, yeah, I'm really good at this. Actually, yeah, I acknowledge myself. I've been doing a really good job lately at this. I'm actually really proud of myself that I achieved X recently, or that I've been taking better care of my health lately, or that I've been meditating more, or that I've been a good friend, or that I've been a good son, daughter, mother, father. What are you proud of yourself for? And all the things you're good at. One more minute on this, and then we're going to move on to the scripting with a Valentine's twist. Okay. Finish up the last couple of things. So we've written down things that we like about ourselves, things we acknowledge ourselves for, things we're good at, or things we're proud of ourselves for. Any things that come up, write them down. I'm proud of myself for having standards, for having boundaries. Those are things that I didn't have 5 years ago. Okay. So wrap that up for now. If you feel like there's more, which is a good thing, then you can always come back and write more. But we're going to dive into the final part of this. Oops, what am I doing here? Turning down the volume. Okay. We're going to dive into the final part of this workshop. Happy Valentine's Day to all. By the way, if you're just joining us now, this is going to be saved. This is recorded. So you can always go back to the beginning. And would anybody like it if maybe I turned this, what we've been doing, into maybe a little journal prompt page where you could download it and have all the little prompts for whenever you want it? Maybe this could be something I could create as a resource. Okay. Oh, that's good water. Okay, so last but not least, our scripting letters. Okay, Linda, Revi, I'll do it. So now to our scripting letters. So you know how Abraham Hicks says that there is absolutely nothing that you can't be or do or have. You can absolutely be, do, and have it all. So we're going to actually be focusing on those three categories: being, doing, and having. And we're going to look at things that we want to be. We're going to look at things that we want to do. And we're going to look at things that we want to have. And I really like how things fit into those three categories. So, you know how if you've ever done a scripting letter with me before, and by the way, if you have never done a scripting letter with me before, there's loads of videos on my YouTube channel about it. One of the ones just before this one is all about scripting. If you haven't downloaded my free step-by-step scripting guide, you can do that. The link will be in the description of this video. So that can all help you on your scripting journey. And what we normally do when we write scripting letters is we write the letter to someone or something that we would want to thank. Dear God, universe, my guardian angels, Abraham, thank you so much. Now I've manifested this. Now I've manifested this, right? That's normally the tone of the letter. So I thought for Valentine's Day, what we can do is we can actually write a thank you letter to ourselves. How good does that feel, right? The idea of maybe like a future version of you thanking this version of you that's here right now for what you did, for who you became, for what you allowed yourself to manifest. So, like I said, we're looking at things you'd like to be, things you'd like to do, and things you'd like to have. So take a moment before we jump into this scripting letter and just think, what would be the answer to those three questions? Who would you like to be? Maybe if you actually go back to the very beginning of this exercise, we were looking at the things that we criticize ourselves for, and while it's good to let them go and it's good to release them, and it definitely doesn't help us to keep beating the drum of the things that we don't like about ourselves, maybe we can also get some lessons from that. Okay, so if there's an attribute, a characteristic, a behavior, a habit that we don't like that could be improved, that we could just become better at, who do we want to be? Some things it's just, we're being plain mean to ourselves, but sometimes there might be a little bit of lessons in that. And we can go, yeah, well, I'm sick and tired of always being like this. So who do I want to be? So write down, first of all, and this is obviously you're being yourself, but you're looking at the best version of yourself. So if you were to be the best version of yourself, who would you be? So take a moment now. Let me put the music on again. We're just sort of taking notes here before we turn it into our scripting letter, okay? What kind of person, what kind of version of you do you want to be? Okay. So when you're ready, the next one is to focus on doing. So remember, you can be, do, and have it all. So we're looking at, first of all, we've done who do I want to be? The next one is, what do I want to do? What do I want to do with my life? What do I want to experience? Where do I want to go? What life do I want to be living? What do I want to be doing on a daily basis? What do I want to do more of to make my days more sacred and special and happy? So write down anything that you'd like to do. Write that down now. Okay, a few more seconds on that one. Things that you want to do. Okay, and then last but not least is to have. And this is one where often this can be the easiest one to write the answers to. What are some things that you would like to have? What do you want? What do you want to have? Write that down now, openly, freely, without judgment, without limits. Take a couple of minutes now and write down, what do you want to have? Okay, so by now, you should have 3 lists of things. Things that you want to be, things that you want to do, and things that you want to have. Great. So now what we're going to do is on a fresh page, you're going to turn this into a scripting self-love letter. So basically, you're going to write 3 paragraphs, one about being, one about doing, and one about having. Just like we always do with scripting, we're going to write it as if it's already done. Okay. So the beginning, so first of all, we're going to look at the be, all the things that we now are, right? Because it's already done. So you're going to write this letter to yourself. So start off by writing your name at the top. Dear Lucie, dear Linda, dear Jackie, right? Write your name. Okay. And then the first paragraph, which is going to be about being, is going to start off with the words, I love that you are. And then write all of the things that you are now. So this is looking at the notes you wrote about the things that you want to be. And now we're transferring it into a scripting letter for ourselves where we're saying, Dear Lucie, dear Rebby, dear Taryn, I love that you are, and write down those things that you want to be, that you want to become. So I'll put the music on. Take a moment now to write those things down. I love that you are, and go for it. And really feel the words as you write them. Okay. So you should have a letter that so far says, Dear you, I love that you are so, and then you list off the things that you are, the things that you want to be, but you're writing it as if you've already done it. You're now that version of you. Now, what is the next thing that we always do when we write a scripting letter? To really amplify the emotion, because emotion is so important to showing the mind and radiating out to the universe that this is who we are now, becoming a vibrational match to it. What do we need to do? We need to feel it. We need to feel the emotions as if we are there now. So next, what you need to do, look at what you've just written. I love that you are so confident, happy, successful, whatever it is that you wrote down. This makes me feel. And I want you to really think, how does that make you feel? And write that down. Okay. So we've done the B part. Remember, you can be, do, and have it all. So we've just done B. Now we're going to do. So take a look at what you wrote down. What is something or some things that you would like to do? So now we're going to write a new paragraph. And we're going to say, Lucie or Jackie or Rebby or whatever your name is, Adelina, Leanne, write down your name. And you're going to start this new paragraph by saying, I am so proud of you. Now that you have, and write down what you want to do from a position where you've already done it. Okay? People are asking, how can I manifest an abundance of money? You can manifest all of these things through this exercise that we're doing right now. If you're just joining us, then come back and watch it from the beginning. It's all about what's going on inside, right? It's all about how we feel about ourselves, what we're telling ourselves. So go back to the beginning, have a look at what are some things that maybe you've been doing or saying that have been holding you back. And then we released those. Then we started pouring more love and encouragement and belief into ourselves. And now we're in the final section of this workshop, and we're creating our scripting letter with a Valentine's Day twist. Leanne is saying, I want to manifest a new job, and it's very hard for me to love my job at the vibration it's at. Any tips? Happy Valentine's Day. So everything that we're talking about now is about transporting ourselves to the desire, to the goal, as if it's already done. What would you be doing? What would life look like? What would life feel like? And immerse yourself, familiarize your brain with that, rehearse it in your mind, whether it's through scripting letters like we're doing, whether it is through visualizations before you go to sleep or first thing in the morning. As much as possible, immerse your mind, immerse your energy into the vibration of the life that you want, the job that you want. Because if not, what do? We just respond to our current scenario, our current environment, and it can be very, all encompassing. It can consume us. So the magic of manifestation is to transport your mind to the place that you want to go, and to never forget where you are going, but to feel it as if it's already happening, rather than, oh, I wish I could do that, but I'm not there. So with that, then our brain is being fed some new energy, some new focus, some new information, right? And your subconscious mind can start to work in the background, can start to point you in the direction of ideas, opportunities, people that are going to draw you towards that reality that you are so vehemently focused on. And then, of course, we've got to take that aligned action. We've got to follow those ideas. We've got to pursue it. We've got to take action on it. We're getting more questions here. How to manifest weight loss and dream body. You can manifest anything with what I'm talking about right now. It's all about starting with your mind, starting off with, what are you focusing on right now? What is the story you're telling yourself? What do you want to become? What would that story sound like? What would that version of you feel like? How would that version of you show up today? And then repeatedly, with consistency, every day, do different things: scripting, visualization, affirmations, meditations, vision boards. Fill your mind with things that help you focus on where you're going, who you're becoming, what you're attracting, the version of you that you want to be, so that you can radiate a totally different quality of energy to attract a totally different quality of energy back to you. So you can apply that to absolutely anything. Yeah. And fundamentally, what we're doing today is we're underpinning it all with pouring so much love and encouragement into ourselves, so that we're equipping ourselves for success. Because if we're beating ourselves up and we're giving ourselves a really hard time, and we're our own worst enemy and worst critic, can you feel how draining that is? Can you feel how much energy that is leaking from us? Can you feel how much that's holding ourselves back before we're even looking at the universe or getting people to give us things, or the universe to give us things? What about what we're doing to ourselves? How much are we holding ourselves back, or draining our energy, or continuously telling ourselves that we don't deserve it or that we can't have it, right? So this whole process, this whole workshop is about giving ourselves a break, changing the tune, changing the record, changing the noise, changing the belief system, changing the story, so that we can give ourselves the best chance possible to open up that door to everything that we want. Okay, so where were we up to? We are focused on doing. I'm so proud of you now that you have, and you're writing down everything that you've done. So hopefully you've had some time while I was talking there to fill that in. Or even if you haven't filled it in, you can always fill it in afterwards, because I just want to respect everyone's time and wrap up the final part of the scripting letter, which is having. So remember, we've started with be, then we went do, and now we've got have. So what are the things that you want to have? Okay, no judgment, no limits. And okay, just to go back on each of these things, remember to write down how it makes you feel. So if you haven't written down how it makes you feel now that you have done these things, take a moment to write that down. Maybe you feel proud of yourself. Whatever it is, write that down. And the final thing is to write down what you now have. So you can start the new paragraph again. You could say, Lucie, you could say your name. I'm so happy for you. You absolutely deserve having, and write down the things that you want to have now that you have it. I'm so happy for you that you have, and write it down. You have it now. It's yours. Write it all down, all the things you want to have. And how does this make you feel? I feel so amazing. By the way, to answer Anshika's question a little bit more, how to manifest weight loss, dream body, any of these kind of things. The funny thing is, with a lot of the things that we want to manifest, often there is a very simple formula that, if we follow it, can lead to us getting results. This can apply to losing weight. This can apply to improving our health. This can apply to making more money. There's often a very simple formula, which when we know that formula is going to help us a lot. But then the other really big part as well is opening ourselves up to know that we can do it, that it can happen for someone like us. Because if we don't believe that it's possible for us in the first place, we can have the formula, but we don't necessarily do it. We don't necessarily execute what needs to be done and take the action. Does that make sense? So I followed a very simple formula to lose a little bit of weight that I wanted to lose, to tone up. I actually have a whole wellness business. I'm not going to talk about it here on this channel, but on Instagram, feel free to message me if you want any support. If you want a simple formula, what I actually do is I help people. I do a little wellness quiz with people. I find out, okay, so tell me more about your eating habits. Tell me about what you struggle with, because I have a background in nutrition. So I can often see, okay, well, if sugar is something that your body craves, or if you tend to have low energy or you're not getting enough protein, often it is as simple as, okay, here are some things that you can do. Here's a nutrition plan that would suit you. Here's the kind of workouts that you can do to achieve your goal. So in terms of an actual formula, I have experience with that. If anyone has questions, drop me a DM. But like I said, there's the formula, and then there's also the belief. The belief in knowing that, what if I could do this? What if I stick to a formula that I know has worked for other people, that I know will work for me because this is the one that's suited to me? What would it take for me to love myself enough to let me do it? What would it take for me to trust myself enough to know that it's possible for me? And the mind game is a big part of achieving and manifesting anything. There's the strategy, there's the formula, and then there's all of this amazingness that we can leverage or that we can hold ourselves back with. Does that make sense? Yes, and also a big part of taking care of yourself, loving yourself, that also makes it easier to give our body good nutrition, to take care of our body even more. It's all connected, isn't it? It's magical. Wonderful. Great. Speaking of which, I'm really hungry. So I think it's time for me to go and have some dinner now. Valentine's evening with my husband. I hope that you got some beautiful things from this session together. Wherever you're at in your journey right now, remember, let this whole session be a reminder to you that how you speak to yourself, your relationship with you is the foundation to absolutely everything. When you're looking for what you want, look inwards first. Look at, how am I talking to myself? What am I focused on about myself? What stories am I telling myself? And that's everything that we worked on together. And we let go of some limiting beliefs. And we wrote down, and use this as your toolkit. What you've written down today, don't just close it in a book and forget about it. I encourage you to look over it again tomorrow, review it for the next few days, weeks, months, have it as a tool there to support you. You wrote down earlier, if there was something kind or empowering I could say to support myself, it would be. And you wrote something down. Write that down again on a post-it note and stick it on your mirror every day and tell yourself that kind or empowering thing. Have reminders on your phone that go off at random times of day that tell you that kind or empowering thing that you could say to support yourself. Let's make it part of our normal. Let's make it part of our new daily way that we live life, to build that new habit, to reprogram the mind. Learning something new is all about repetition and consistency, right? And any habits that you might have had, that you might have picked up, where you've been being mean to yourself, or you've been telling yourself reasons why you can't do it, they're habits too. You've just been practicing that habit consistently with repetition for a long, long time, right? But if it's not serving us, we can build a new habit. And then we focused on things that we like about ourselves, things that we're proud of ourselves for, things that maybe we haven't been acknowledged for, we haven't been recognized for, but we're going to recognize ourselves for it. We're going to tell ourselves, you know what, I'm really proud of you. And you did that today. So read this back and make it a daily exercise. And then we actually wrote a scripting letter to ourselves where we focused on what we want to be, what we want to do, what we want to have. And we wrote it in the past tense as if we've already become it. We've already done it and we have it now, and how it now makes us feel. So you're transporting yourself to the end. You're living in the end, and you're allowing the letter to help your brain go there now so that you can live life from that point of view, so that you can show up to life being that version of you that's already had it. If you already had it, would there be as much doubt? Would there be as much fear? Would there be as much self-criticism? Would there be as much sadness, pain, lack? Or would there be a life that you could suddenly access now that was a lot more certain, a lot more calm, a lot more happy, a lot more confident, a lot more powerful with everything that you already have. You don't need to have more skills, more life experience with everything that you already have right now. I know that there's a version of us that we can activate that is so much more empowered, calm, certain, confident, happy, powerful, just with a shift of our focus, which shifts our energy, our vibration, which shifts what we're radiating, which shifts what we're attracting. Whew! Everyone take a deep breath in and out. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Happy Valentine's Day to you all. I love you. I appreciate you. And I want you to know how proud I am of you. Okay? I want you to know that. I want you to know how proud I am of you. I want you to know how much I believe in you. Borrow my eyes. Okay? Borrow my eyes and see yourself the way that I see you. I see you as the version of you that can do it. I see you as the version of you that deserves it. I see you as the version of you that's already accomplished it. So just borrow my eyes and see yourself that way and start to live life from that point of view and see how life changes because you're showing up to life differently. You're allowing more blessings into your life. That's what manifestation is all about. You have the key to it all. Oh, by the way, do you like my Valentine's Day nails? Eee. They're very Minnie Mouse, I feel like. Okay, everyone, have a great rest of your Valentine's Day. Thank you for the birthday love for tomorrow as well. See you all soon. Love you all. Bye.